So there you were, driving out on the highway and into the woods on the outskirts. Upon reaching a turnoff into the forest, you can't help but feel this mystical yet ominous presentiment. The trees and plant life have this unusual look that is different from the trees and flora you have previously seen while driving out here. These trees and plant life appear to bind and fuse together, harboring some sort of dark secret. This strange bond blocked out some of the sunlight which peeked in from the spaces between the branches. The further you drive, the thicker the groves become. As you observe the growing thickets, the notion of turning around and driving back home crosses your mind. But you don't follow through with the notion, as your desire to find and attain evidence of the Rake overpowers it. You convince yourself that it's just a feeling of anxiety due to being alone on this expedition and that you have never explored these woods before. You see another turnoff and head down to pull up to a small clearing. You park your rover and observe your surroundings. You notice an old cream-colored Range Rover not far from your car. At least you're not the only one here. You grab your pack from the boot and check your supplies before heading out into the unknown woods. As you trod through the forest, a feeling of uncertainty brushes over you, similar to the feeling you felt when you were in your car driving here. Again, you dismiss it for anxiety. You really need to get a grip on yourself, you think. You came out here with an objective, and you're not about to abandon it after all of your hard work. The woods sound rather normal. The occasional chirp from birds, crickets, and all the other audible sounds you would hear when trotting through the vast woods. This calms you down a bit, giving you a stronger sense of safety and comfort. Not long after a short walk, you find a large clearing. Just as well as the sky is starting to darken, evening is setting in. Swiftly, you begin to set up your tent and grab nearby resources, such as wood for a campfire. You use a large boulder that rests at the center of the clearing as a makeshift seat. Once you finish setting up camp, you take out your homemade snacks. You grab a salami sandwich wrapped in aluminum foil and a carton of orange juice. Sitting in front of the crackling fire with your snacks, you reminisce back to an old camping trip with your father and friends to a desert in the Arabian Peninsula. Suddenly, breaking your peace of mind, a cold and unsettling vibe sours through you. It's like the feeling you get when you know someone is staring at you, only much worse. This feeling's like something is watching you. Instinctively, you swing your body around to see nobody there. You could have sworn that you felt an overwhelming sense of someone laying eyes on you. Probably just your imagination again, you think. You allow your breathing to return to normal as you turn back to the fire. The night sky had fallen upon the woods, casting a blanket of pitch-black silence over the forest. You finish your sandwich and orange juice, pack them into your waste bag, and rinse your mouth with water before heading to bed in your tent. Tomorrow is a new day. Perhaps you'll find something intriguing, you think to yourself. You slowly crawl into your medium-sized tent, zip it up behind you, and lay down onto your sheets. You cover yourself with a thicker blanket and hope that the good night's sleep. In these rare moments, with the ever kind of harmonious nature, almost everything is better. No unnecessary noises, sirens, or other disturbances, just plain and simple. Peacefully, you lay there listening. The campfire had just died down, leaving the mostly quiet and almost inaudible sound of forest. Gradually, your tiredness slowly seeps in. You're just about to hit the hay until you heard it. It sounded like wood being scratched or something, a bit distant, but you can't be sure. You remain immobile and listen closely, hoping whatever it is was just going to pass you by. Assuming it's just an animal, You wait patiently for 30 seconds, listening closely. You realize the forest has gone dead silent, no chirping or any other common sounds, nothing but silence of death. You can only imagine. From your research, whenever the forest is dead silent, that serves as a warning sign for potential predators in the area, or the fact that the person exploring is causing the silence for the animals. However, in this particular instance, you're silently laying in your tent. The only logical conclusion would be that there is a predator in the area. Then you hear the sound again, this time only closer. You hold your breath. Whatever's out there must be getting closer. You firmly grasp your sheets in fear that whatever is out there may just pounce upon your tent. The right side of your brain reminds you of the Rake. Imagining it ripping apart your tent to find yourself face to face with it, you wouldn't stand a chance. The left side of your brain begs to differ. Perhaps it's just a fox, maybe some other small animal, or perhaps it's just your imagination. Silently, you wait with your eyes fixed wide open. The longest seconds of your life passes as you wait. Your curiosity beckons you to grab your camera and take a peek out of your tent, but you would rather have it otherwise. You figure to go along with your curiosity. What's the worst that could happen by taking a peek, right? Always best to capture something. Besides, that's what you're out here for anyway, right? Quietly, you stagger up and grab your camera from your backpack, in and out. Ever so slowly, you pull the zip of the tent down and poke the camera out. You press the record button on the side of it and pan it around. All you see within the recording lens is complete darkness, encapsulating it. Damn! How could you be so illogical? It's nighttime in the middle of the forest and you're attempting to record something without light. Altering the settings, you set the camera to night vision and pan the camera around for the second time. Nothing appears to look out of the ordinary, no animal, person, or anything of the sort. You breathe a sigh of relief. Now the left side of your brain appears to be triumphant. No Rake or other unnatural creature, just your vast imagination strikes again. You decide to step out of the tent and have a better look around. You push yourself out of the warm comfort of your tent and take a step out into the cool breeze of the night. You can barely make out anything from the dark of the night, as the towering trees overhead parted just enough, allowing the moon's dim light to illuminate the clearing. From what looks of it, nothing apart from yourself has wandered into or taken residence in this area. You figure that it's just best to just go get some shut-eye and hope for the best for tomorrow. Swiftly, a cold breeze picks up. You begin to feel an overwhelming, ominous presence, reminiscent to the first time. A shiver slowly runs down your back. You adjust your jacket, zipping it up to your neck, and slightly peer over your shoulder. You aren't too comfortable with this feeling at all. You remember that your camera hangs to the side of your body on your left hand. It's facing the opposite direction from you. Realizing that it's still recording, you raise it to your face and stop the recording. You walk over to your tent and crawl back inside. Lying down onto your blankets, the sense of security you once felt appears to have disappeared. Something isn't quite right. Probably because you forgot to zip up your tent after you crawled in. You swiftly zip it up and lie back down. You were about to place the camera back into your pack, but get the feeling that you should just have a look at the footage. You pick up your camera, look into the gallery, and scrub through the recorded footage. You see the first part of the recording from the safety of your tent, and then skip ahead to the second part where you forgot that you were recording. You don't see anything unusual. Again, your skin through to the last couple of seconds and nearly have a heart attack. What you see will surely stapled in your memory, haunting your nightmares. You can barely believe what you're seeing as your eyes remain transfixed upon the diabolical, malevolent creature. The footage isn't the best quality, but good enough to make out some detail in the creature and prove its existence. Although the creature was hunkered down, it looked long, slender, and tall. Its face was daunting and extraterrestrial-like. It lacked any form of facial or body hair, completely hairless. Its dark and chalky eyes were piercing and disconcerting. At the end, its unusual long and skinny arms were sharp and talon-like claws. It was embodiment of someone's worst night terror. It remained in the crouched position, completely still without making a single noise. As the video footage stops, the creature disappears. You have no words. What you saw was undoubtedly the infamous Rake. It must have been. You have the evidence on your camera, but that is no achievement, as you are in the very midst of the Rake. Sweat dribbles down your forehead as you resist moving your muscles in your body. Your mind tells you that you need to escape now and fast. No doubt that the Rake will kill you. Painfully, your breath is caught in your chest as you wonder if it will tear through the tent and drain the very existence and soul out of you. Several minutes go by as you anxiously wait and pray that you won't meet your end tonight. Finally, you realize that it's best to make a break for it. Maybe, just maybe, you'll be spared. Without wasting any more time, you grab your backpack, place the camera inside, pull out your mini flashlight, and slowly zip down your tent. You take a quick peek out before running out with your flashlight in hand. You retrace your path back to the small clearing and begin to fumble with your car keys. As you do this, you notice that the cream-colored Rover is gone. It isn't there anymore. Perhaps whoever owned it bailed for the same reason you did. As you open the car door, you toss your backpack in. You hear someone utter something. You turn and see a man covered in dirt, blood and debris crawling on his hands and knees. From what you can see, his torn shirt has a logo of some sort. He must be from some sort of research group, you think. Then your mind reacts back to the research group you read about that never made it out of these woods. "Help!" the man manages to utter out in a weak voice. In these few seconds, you have a choice at hand. Either you run over and help the man, or you jump in your Rover and drive away as fast as possible. You decide to help the man as you make your way towards him. He's only a few feet away when you notice something odd. As the man crawls forward, it is as if his body is not interacting with the leaves and twigs on the forest soil. Something isn't right. That is not normal. You stop in your tracks as you analyze this. The man slowly draws near, yet doesn't cause any movement on the leaves or twigs. You begin to take steps back. As you do, you see the man's body begin to fade away, like a projection of an image or video on surface. You trace the fading projection of light back to the source, and you see a set of two chalky white eyes. They begin to get brighter. You try to pull away from the Rake's ominous gaze, but for some reason you can't. Then you begin to feel an immense pain that spreads like wildfire through your body. You feel your very essence and soul being forcefully twisted and tugged out of you. Your conscience begins to drift away, and the feelings in your body grow limp and numb as life slips out of your grasp. A final idea crosses your mind. With all your strength, you raise your flashlight and aim it at the creature's eyes. Within an instant, the rake's ominous gaze breaks as the cryptid disappears. You drop to the forest floor in a slump. Gradually, you regain the sense of feeling and grab your flickering flashlight. As soon as you're able to climb to your feet, you rush over to your car and jump behind the steering wheel. Without wasting any time, you start up the engine and drive away as fast as you can. You've never driven this fast in your life. You don't stop for nothing until you reach your house. You have never experienced such fear before. Today.